Welcome back, guys. For today's video, we are going to be doing some algorithmic programming. Yes, we're just going to solve some problems. So there's this website codewars.com. If you go to it, they have a large variety of programming problems you can solve. So for today, what we're going to do is this program. It's called counts the divisors of a number. So the instructions are that you should write a program that counts the number of divisors of a non-negative integer. So the test goes up to n equals to, I think, is that 50,000 or 500,000. And then here are the examples. So for number 4, it has 3 divisors, that is 3 things can divide it. So we are going to count the number of divisors for a number. So let's start programming. So given n, right, we want to be able to count the number of things that can divide it. So I'm thinking of using a for loop. So for a for loop, we can see, okay, let me comment this, using for loop. Okay, if n equals to 0, let's verify that. If n is equals to 0, return 0, because nothing can divide 0, so we have to be careful of that. So if n is equals to 0, we'll return that 0 as the number of divisors. If n equals to 1, return 1. If then else, say for I in range, and that is the for example, now if the number is 5, so for I in range 5, that is from 0 to 4. If the number, we'll try and check if it's divisible. So let's say for range first 1, so we want to go all the way to 5. So we'll now try it now. So n, if n modulo I equals to 0, so if n is divisible by I, counter plus equals to 1. Let's create counter variable equals to 0. Oh, this code isn't really efficient. It has a bad time complexity. So yeah, I think that's it. Then we'll return counter. So let's test. Let's test again. So we passed one test, but now a problem arises: integer division or modulo by 0 division. Okay, let's start from 1. Let's try starting from 1 and testing. Wow, we got it. So we passed all the tests. So now let me summarize everything for you. Okay, first let's attempt it and see if it's correct, because sometimes it's not usually correct. Okay, so we passed everything. So we passed 107 tests and failed 0. So to summarize, basically the question was that we should count the number of divisors or device or whatever it is of a non-negative integer. So first of all, if you know that the number is not going to be negative, it's going to be positive throughout, and n goes all the way to 500,000. So we are going to count everything that can divide n. So using this code now, so we first check if n is equal to 0, we will return 0 because we do not want to carry this 0 into the for loop and do it again. Same thing we want, it's just to reduce the number of things that are being done in the for loop. So if n is equals to 1, we return 1. Else we'll create a variable called counter and then use a for loop. So for I in range, we'll start from 1 all the way to n plus 1 so that we can get that last value of n, because when you're using range, let's say range 5, it goes all the way to 4 but not 5, so you cannot use that last number in your program, in your code. So we'll check if n is divisible by I, that is n modulo I. If it's equal to 0, that means there is no remainder. Now if it's equal to 0 and there is no remainder, that means it's divisible. So we'll increase the counter, and after everything we now get we'll now return the counter, and that is our number of, that's a number of what's it called, a number of divisors for a non-negative number. So thank you for watching this video. Come back next time for more harder programming questions. Thank you. Peace.